Bryce Luca with Greater Bragg Creek Trails. I'm the construction manager for the Summer Trails project, and today we've got a crew out working on a bench cut, as you can see in the background. So what we're looking at doing is taking the natural terrain that we have here and converting it into a usable trail. So what we will be doing is stripping off all of the organic material, that is the earth and or loam and the vegetation over the top. That material is not good for the building of our tread. What we need is a mineral-based soil composed of rock and sand, so that promotes better drainage and compaction of our tread. The tools that we'll be using today, and the trip hazards, include a Pulaski or a fireman's axe. So it's got two purposes. One, cutting roots. So we may be taking out small roots that are in the ground. Our rule of thumb is up to 1.5 inches. That's what prescribed method is in terms of taking out that size of root and not providing damage to the trees. The other end, the grubbing end, is useful for dislodging. The other tool that's very similar that we'll be using is a mattock. So a mattock has a little bit bigger displacement end, but it also has a pick end. The pick end becomes particularly useful for any time we find ourselves lodged in particularly rocky areas. And this is called a McLeod. So what this is used for is, in our case, tamping down the trail. So it's quite heavy, and it provides a means of compacting the tread. This also has a rake end built into it, and as well, you can't really see it there, but there's a cutting edge on this. So the use of that tool would go as follows. I can use this cutting edge to dislodge material. It's not the most effective means of doing it, however, it does work. This rake then allows me to pull stuff downhill, okay, and not get snagged up in too much material. The other tool that we use, this is a combination McLeod. This is a gain-based, is a custom-made tool based off of a fireman's fire axe. And what this does is it has a flat or leveling side. So when we get to a point where we're leveling out trail, we need something flat to even the grade out, that's the baby. Again, here's another rake, but you'll notice these teeth are really quite jagged. So what that enables is this sort of action and easier displacement. So this rake that I just used was more effective than the last due to the points on here. However, in this area, this particular terrain, my most useful stripping feature on this tool is going to be these 2 points here. Reason being, deeper teeth and less of them. So what I have the group doing behind is one person doing the displacement and loosening up the earth, and then the next person in the pair going along with a rake and pulling this material down. Okay, so what we want to do with our material is broadcast it. So we want to pull it off of our trail's edge so that we don't have that material holding water. Remember I said this is the loamy vegetation material that is not good for trail building. We need to have it removed from the trail area, otherwise we have more water on the trail. So this is Bobcat Trail. This is lower end of Bobcat, just by the bridge to nowhere. And this crew of just 7 people with Bryce have built already 65 meters of tread here in just 4 hours.
Yeah, I always
and it's
tell
absolutely amazing. And they're still working.
The Trails Association organizes volunteers to build and maintain the extensive trails network. This team of 7 volunteers, under the leadership of Bryce Haluka, built 100 meters of all-season trail from scratch in 1 day. The hundreds of thousands of dollars donated have been leveraged by over 4,000 volunteer hours, enabling the development of nearly 100 kilometers of trails, with more to come.